All right, should be live on Texas Soccer Live. Alrighty then. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching live or will be watching live or on playback. Welcome to Texas Soccer Live, episode 21. That seems to be the theme of the day because I got both of my young colleagues here, Raul Villarreal and Richard Romero. We're both turning 21 this next week, so happy birthday.
There you go.
We're going to have some fun tonight, guys. We've been off last month, and we're excited that, we took the month off to rest up. It was also kind of a slow time in soccer, just, wasn't much going on. But now's the time where there's a ton going on, so we have a ton to cover. And we're excited because Richard, who's not normally with us, he's normally up in the tundras known as Boston, freezing his little behind off. He is now with us here on Thanksgiving break. And so we're excited to have Richard have all three of us together for once. And look for us to try and do the same thing sometime over the holidays in December. So if you're watching this on playback, just to give you an idea, there are several topics we're going to cover if you want to jump to a topic. Number one, we're going to talk about the MLS Cup and playoffs that are coming to a quick close. And we'll talk about the Dynamo and our final thoughts on their season. Secondly, we'll talk about Liga MX. Their final week is this weekend. Lots of soccer this weekend if you are a soccer fan, as well as our predictions for the playoffs. And then we will talk a little European soccer, the Big Five leagues, how we think is going on now. They're about a third of the way through. Champions League in Europe, number 4. And we'll finish off with a little fun conversation about an Argentina rivalry that has turned into the Copa Libertadores final with Boca Juniors and River Plate and our take on that. So, with further ado, let's get started. And gentlemen, let's jump right into, we missed a lot of, since we were last on, the MLS playoffs did not start, but it has, it's been going full speed. And so what I'm kind of curious about, before we get into the playoffs, we know that our local team, the Dynamo, are not in it. Your takeaways on what was, I was safe to say, a disappointing season, but your takeaways on what can Dynamo fans learn from this season and what can they hope for in the future?
You know, this way.
I think we should just
transition. My takeaway on this season was they started off strong, but I feel like the season that they had last season didn't carry over. I feel like, and then if you think about it, I think they played, the first game was Atlanta. The game at Atlanta was the game that kind of made everybody believe that, okay, these guys are for real. But like always, the away games, they caught up to them and they couldn't get on the board when they were playing away. It was disappointing, but I think it was also a wake-up call. There was a wake-up call like, hey, we need to get some new guys. We need to get new management and whatnot. We need to move forward. We basically need to wipe out a few players in management and build up again. We obviously got we got the championship from the U.S. Open Cup, which was good. So I mean, it's a round of applause for them. It wasn't what we wanted, but it was some hardware, and it looks good for us.
And it comes with something that we need to figure out what we're going to do with, and that is a berth in the CONCACAF Champions League.
That puts you in the CONCACAF Champions League, which is a big opportunity. If you can come back with a fresh, brand new squad, and you have better management, spend some money on some players, you have a very, very good chance. But it was disappointing, but it's also good to see the Dynamo finally wake up and realize, like, okay, it's time for some changes that we need, and it's good, but it's basically like a new beginning for them. So I think it'll pay off in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with everything you said. Specifically pointing out something that had been happening from last season was that we were very solid at home, and that's something that we lost this season.
Yeah. No, and that's what kept us afloat, was that
right.
we had the home, but we didn't have that this year.
Right. And with that, just I don't know what it was. We actually saw each other at the Texas Derby, and it wasn't a very attractive game.
No.
Something that my dad and I were noticing was it wasn't attractive to see them play anymore at home. So you have to put on a show, you have to put on a match and show that even when it's a rivalry with FC Dallas, you're going to be playing your all, no matter what leg of the season you're in and how you're doing. It's still it should be a rivalry that you should be feeling, since we are the only two Texas teams in the MLS.
Yeah, I mean, it was domination in that derby all around by Dallas, and they were like that all season until we got to the playoffs when it counted. But something interesting that I find interesting about the Dynamo is two things. Is that if you're going to take one bright spot, like, is there any part of this season we want to take with us? I was looking at the whole season, and I would take the month of September. The month of September, they were 3 wins, 1 tie, 0 losses, including getting the U.S. Open Cup. They found something magical in September. I don't know what it was. These guys all woke up clicking. But I'll tell you one thing that happened that was not magic. It was just a fact. They gained back 2 critical defenders, Juan David Cabezas and AJ De La Garza. They did not have these guys all year, and they proved to me, at least, that they are invaluable. Right. That clearly this team is better with them than they are without them. Even despite Manotas breaking the club record for single season goals, 19 in all competitions, it's still, that explosive offense was very clear that defensive line is the key to this team.
Yes.
We will find goal scorers. We have goal scorers. But with no defense to back it up, we ain't nothing. If you look at a lot of our losses, the Dynamo rarely got shut out. They rarely got shut out of games. They could score. They couldn't keep other people from scoring. That was the problem. So it'd be interesting. I want to see what they're doing. The first move, and I don't know about y'all's take on this, obviously no player moves have been made yet, but the first major move that I thought was critical, and I thank the Lord they did it, was getting rid of, up in the management, Chris Canetti. I have a few choice words for him. He's gone. He was not managing the team properly. We weren't bringing in players. We were wasting people's talent. They brought in new blood. They brought in John Walker, who's a business oriented guy. He's an LA business oriented guy, so he likes to spend money. The question is, will the ownership team let him spend money? If they do, I think that we got the right guy spending some money now, and we can make the moves we need to make. Canetti was not, and this whole cop out, by the way, he said, "Oh, I'm stepping down because I need to manage Houston's World Cup bid for 2026." You didn't have to step down to do that. That was him, ladies and gentlemen. Just to read through the BS. That was him saving his butt before he got fired. He quit before he got fired. Whatever. But John Walker, I think, is going to be an excellent head of business operations and operations president, and able to get some big names, hopefully, because you're in that LA
If you want
mentality.
championships, you got to throw out that money to get some big players, some big names.
Yeah.
I think they need to get a new coach, but maybe, who knows, maybe if he can get the players that he needs, he can turn it around. But me personally, I think he needs to go, but we'll give him one more season and see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with that in mind, we won't be talking about the Dynamo for a while, probably until February's training camp opens up. But there are 4 MLS teams still alive, hoping for a championship this year. So let's get right down to it. Y'all's predictions here. It kicks off this weekend, this Sunday, the 25th. On the east side, we have Atlanta facing off against New York Red Bulls, and we have Portland in the west facing off against Sporting KC. There's 2 legs. One's on the 25th, next on the 29th. So a quick turnaround. I'm going to go with my picks first. I'm picking Portland in the west, Atlanta in the east, and I'm going to say Atlanta's going to bring home an MLS Cup. What are y'all's calls?
I'm gonna I'm gonna pick Portland. Portland's a strong team. We've seen it when they played here against Dynamo. And I'm also gonna pick Atlanta. I think ever since Atlanta started, they were a promising team. They have the talent, they have the fan base behind them, and I believe that I feel like Atlanta is the team to walk away with this title. I hope so. I think it'll be deserving for them to have it because they're an expansion team. And since they're so young, and for them to go out and get a title, I think that's just going to attract more attention to them that they need, and then they're going to get bigger players to show up. So
breaking attendance records left and right. That's an expansion.
Yeah, and on top of that, their goal scorer, he's breaking
MLS records.
Yeah,
Joseph Martinez. Yeah.
So I think Atlanta's a team that deserves it, but then you never know. You have a team like Portland that shows up and gets spoiled everything because they have a solid team also. So.
Yeah, just by hierarchy, I agree. We're all the way in with Portland and Atlanta.
So we're both in with ball.
I will say, though, if Portland continues to do what they've been doing this whole season, they might spoil Atlanta's party.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that Portland is actually going to spoil
You think Portland's going to win?
I think Portland's going to win.
See, and what I love about this, and I'm going to get y'all's take, why do you think all 3 of us automatically went Portland? Technically, Sporting KC is the favorite team in this thing. Why do you think none of us I mean, I know my opinion, but I'm wondering yours. Why do you think none of us gave Sporting KC a shot in this?
Me personally, Portland has the potential and they have the experience to go into certain situations. Like they've been there before. They know what's going on. Sporting KC, yes, they make it here and there, but Portland is one of those teams that is so constant. They're always there. You never see them at the bottom. Even they start off at the bottom, but they always move up. Right. So they know what they're doing. So to try and give Sporting KC the upper hand against them, they are the dark horse, but I don't see them passing Portland up.
Yeah.
It will be very difficult for them to do that, especially with the fan base that Portland has back over there.
I guess we make the same argument for the East. I mean, New York Red Bulls are a damn good team. Red Bulls have been up at the top of the league all year. But they're going against a team that's equally good. The same thing, fan base. What does Portland and Atlanta have in common? Solid, fanatical fan bases.
Yes.
I mean, Atlanta, just with the simple fact that they're filling a football stadium. They don't have a soccer stadium. They're filling the Atlanta Falcons football stadium. Yeah. And they broke the attendance record this year, as well as the single game record this year. And we're talking averaging 50,000 plus a game. Absolutely insane.
These 2 teams are probably the 2 teams that are relatable to Mexico's fan base teams. They can even relate to European fan bases. They travel in numbers, and they
travel here. Yeah, bro.
They travel, and they fill their own stadium with numbers. So they're the 2 teams that I can see that are up on that level. So they get the respect and then if the team sees that and the management sees that, they're gonna go out and give it their best, because why? They have their fans traveling hundreds of miles just to see them. So I feel like these two in a final would probably be the best final to see. I'm glad Toronto and Seattle's not in there anymore, but
yeah, that was epic. That was epic with Portland had to go through Seattle to get here.
Yeah,
that was a fun series because Seattle was actually the higher ranked team going into that. So shout out to my cousins in Portland. I know y'all cheering.
One thing I did like from this season, from Dynamo, they did upset a lot of teams. They upset LA Galaxy to keep them out.
They kept them out of the playoffs because Zlatan out.
They kept LAFC out of the U.S. Open Cup. They were like an underdog, and I give them that.
Beat the Union after the Union beat them very controversially, in their own stadium for the cup.
So they did what they had to do late.
Yeah.
But it didn't really pay off. But it's good to see them like take down some big name teams.
There were some key changes when I talk about September. That back line, like I said, they gained some guys. They stopped playing some others. That was the bigger story. Is not who they played, is who they did not play. Right. They gave some of the guys. And up front, there's one guy who I'm glad they decreased playing time for. That was Tomas Martinez. Tomas Martinez had a terrible season. Yeah. And for him to be in that number 10 role is ridiculous. I'm sorry. No help at all to Manotas. No help at all to Ellis. Yeah. I mean, Kyoto had a solid season. Ellis, sub-average. But it's like, you need that one trigger man. You need that one guy that's going to be the key. And Tomas Martinez was not it this year. So yeah, I mean, there's some bright spots. We're definitely going to be looking at closely what happens with CONCACAF champions, because we want to see where those guys end up in the whole group stage game of things. See what we get here in Houston. All right, we're going to at least get a game or something here, hopefully.
I think you get a home. Yeah, you get like 2 games, a home and an away game.
So hopefully we can get a lot of people around that. So it should be fun. So all right, with that, let's move on to. I know a lot of our fans who watch, and obviously all 3 of us here. Liga MX is coming to an exciting end this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, week 17, and then we get into the real business of playoffs. All 3 of our teams are in the hunt and playoff contention right now. So let's go through this. What I want to do, just real for fun, is we're going to go through some about the current rankings, and then we're going to go through all the games for this week. We're going to pick who we are the winners, ties, losses, whatever. There's going to be a winner or tie for every single game. That will determine our final rankings. And we're going to look at who each of 3 of us have put into this year's Apertura playoffs for 2018.
La Liguilla.
So let's look at it. So currently, here's how it stands going into Friday. Cruz Azul remains in first with 33 points. And by the way, I have these up on the board as well for the top 8. Club America is there at 30 in second place. Pumas at third with 29. Santos also 29 at fourth, but with 1 less goal scored. So they're neck and neck. Rayados are at 27 with a +4 differential, number 5. Number 6 right behind them, crosstown rivals Tigres at 26. Behind them, Toluca also at 26, but with 5 less goals scored. And then rounding out the top 8, Monarcas at 25 with a -1 differential. If you look at other teams in the hunt, you have Pachuca at 23 with a +8, Querétaro at 23, -2, Chivas at number 11, 20 with an even differential, and number 12, Puebla with only 19 points. If you're curious about who's at the bottom, you got your bottom 3, Necaxa, Atlas, and lowly Veracruz with only 10 points. So that's where we're at. Yeah, that's bad. Only 10 points. Atlas not much better with only 11. So let's look at the games, and as you guys, we'll go through each game, do our predictions, and then we'll do a little. As I add it up, we'll have y'all kind of talk about what your big thoughts are about the season and whatnot, and I'll come up with our totals here. So let's just do some picks real fast. First game up, we have Monarcas at home versus Cruz Azul. Monarcas currently at number 8 versus number 1 Cruz Azul at home. I am taking the current first place Cruz Azul to cruise to a first place victory.
I'm going to pick Monarcas on this one. I think Cruz Azul is going to go in and sit most of their players so they can have some fresh and healthy people like to go into the league. Yeah, they're already set. They don't lose anything. If I were them, I would save as much as I can because being in first place comes back to haunt you. So I think I'm going to pick Monarcas on this one.
Okay, Richard.
Ricardo Pela is the team operator. He's always, I mean, back when he was with America, he always pushed them to the max. So I would say that Cruz Azul is going to go for the victory. They're essentially doing it not with their full-on team, but essentially with the players that they have because they have a solid bench as well. This is the thing with the Cruz Azul this year is like they're a great overall team, but I actually think Morelia is because they want to stay in this. They're also going to go, and I think this match is going to end up in a tie. Potentially, I mean, making it more interesting just because it's only Pachuca and Querétaro who are out right as of today, but after next week, who knows? They might be in, they might stay out. So I'm going to go for the tie with Cruz Azul and Morelia.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. Next up, we have Puebla at home against Tijuana. A game that does not really matter for Tijuana. It does matter for Puebla and the outside shot that a bunch of other people lose. But even then, I don't think they can even make it. So it's really just a pride game. So I just went here. I took a cop out. I took the home team. I'm going with Puebla on this one.
I'm just going to go ahead and say tie, maybe 1-1. Puebla's one of those teams that they show out 1 year and then the next year they fall. It's just one of those teams that cannot go to second division, even if it was their time to go, they're not going to go. Because I think last year they were at chance of leaving. What do? They made it to like the 9th place and it saved them. So I think it's just going to be a tie. You can't lose Puebla. Tijuana's one of those teams that didn't show up this year like they have in the past year. So I'm just going to go with a tie on them.
Good.
Unfortunately, all their players were taken out from Tijuana, so I'm going with Puebla on this one. They're going to win.
Cool. Next up, we have Querétaro and Necaxa. Necaxa towards the bottom of the standings. Querétaro with a lot to play for in the 10th spot at 23. They could make a play for that 8th spot with the Monarcas and Pachuca lost. So I'm going to say with that motivation, I'm going to go, and they're at home. I think Querétaro will actually be in the mix this year and could challenge for that 8th spot. So I'm going Querétaro.
Okay. Looking at the standings, I think they could pull it off, but I don't see it Toluca losing. That's the thing. So, I can see Querétaro winning. I can see, but it's because Necaxa could be. Necaxa is one of those teams that surprises you all of a sudden. They're like the Dynamo. They might upset you last game and you're out of it. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Querétaro on this one just because they have a lot to play for. So they're going to go out and throw everything out there and see what they can come up with.
Yeah, unfortunately, Necaxa didn't come out this year, just like Rose said. And it was just a downer. It was a downer season for them. Querétaro has some upsets here and there, but if they really want to get in there, I'm gonna go with a Querétaro victory. But when we go back to the Pachuca game, that -2, I'm looking at the goal differential right now. If for some reason Pachuca ends up winning their match, then Querétaro's still out. So
definitely. Speaking of Pachuca, next up we have Pachuca and León. Pachuca 1 spot in front of Querétaro because that goal differential with a lot to play for. So I'm going with Pachuca fighting for their playoff spot, getting a win over León at home. So I'll go with Pachuca.
I think they're going to tie the game. It's Pachuca and León are the two teams that I feel like they're neck and neck with each other. It's kind of Pachuca shows up just because they're young talent, but León is one of those teams that shows up one season and then they don't show up, but they're still pretty strong. So I'm gonna say that's a tie.
I'm actually going with Pachuca. This season they've really impressed me. Like I won't say like they'll win the whole thing or that they'll have a chance to fight for the title. I mean, everybody's gonna get their chance, but they've gotten a pretty good goal differential in the matches that they had recently. So who knows? But I'm going with Pachuca just to make things spicy in the table.
So speaking of what I think is an unexciting game, I wish it was more challenging. Club America is at home to finish the season versus Veracruz. As much as I do not like Club America, I'll give them this. They have a plus 13 goal differential, the best in the league. So they've scored insane amounts of goals. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna make some stupid pick here. America, I don't care if it's just 1-0 or whatever. They're gonna beat Veracruz and maintain their second place standings. So I'll go with America.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick America. Veracruz isn't even a challenge right now. I mean, who knows, maybe. But then again, America might go in and they might rest some players and they might just be like, okay, we can afford a loss if we can save some fresh legs for playoffs, which starts again right away next week. So I'm going to pick America, but, I mean, who knows? The upset could happen.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of upsets, it's like any team that plays against America is always going to give it their best no matter where they are at the table. And that's the thing. It's like, would America actually benefit from being at the first place? I mean, you know, you have the maldición, which is always there.
But see, my point is the real this season points are so close that America win could end up in first, and America lost, he could end up out of home field advantage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at the whole scheme of things, it's pretty ridiculous how they could fluctuate. I mean, they can move all the way down to fifth potentially and go up to first.
Right.
So I'm assuming you're not going against your hometown.
No, I'm going for victory. Yeah.
So we all got America in that. Next, we have what some people want to call an interesting matchup. I don't get y'all's take on this, but I don't think so. That's Chivas at home against Tigres. I think with everything on the line, as much as I dislike my rivals, I respect my rivals. I think the Tigres are going to want, and then they need this win. Even though it's on the road, I think they'll take down Chivas because Chivas is not impressing me. So Tigres in a close game against Chivas.
I don't think it'll be a close game. By what we played Puebla, and it was like a big blowout. But I feel like some players got in rhythm, and we noticed a lot of things. So I'm gonna pick Tigres on that. I can see them maybe going up maybe 3-1, just because we got in rhythm and we have a lot to play for. We're basically playing for home field advantage. Just depends. I'm gonna pick Tigres on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going for Tigres as well. I don't see them at all losing this match, not even by a long shot.
This next one, if one of y'all pick against me, I'm going to kick your butt. Seriously.
Not Rayados, no.
Rayados is playing Atlas. Atlas. Don't give me that upset story. Don't give me the story.
You guys are at home. So.
We're at home, too. Don't give me no stories. So, as much as y'all may hate my team, but Rayados is going to win. Come on now. Come on now. None of y'all, I'm looking at y'all right now. None of y'all picking Atlas.
I'm not going to pick Atlas. But I'm also
So got to be say tie.
No, but I'm also picking it because if you guys lose, we get home field advantage.
Oh
so
my!
It's
God.
like I want them to
He's
lose.
picking out of loyalty.
I want them to lose, but
Hey,
I don't
switch
see
my
them
pick.
losing.
Switch my pick. Chivas, no.
I don't see them losing, but I kind of want them to because I think we have 26. You guys have
27.
Yeah, so if they lose and we win, it pushes up to home field.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't see them losing to Atlas at home. Even though Atlas wants to play them at home really bad. I mean, who knows?
So who's your official pick?
I'm gonna go with Monterrey. Right
Okay.
Right home.
All right, America down there. What do you got?
Yeah, well, it's not hard to say, but this year, I mean, Monterrey has been doing fairly decent at home.
They aren't the same team as last year. That's for sure.
Right. So yeah, I'll go ahead and give it to Monterrey. But I mean,
You guys,
we'll see.
You reluctant assholes.
We'll
Oh
see.
my God.
We'll see. It
You
it makes
know.
for a good match, you know.
I'm going to remember that when we get to these playoffs. Okay. The most interesting, intriguing match in my mind, just because of their simple rank and status. Number 3, Pumas against number 4, Santos. Someone is going to jump, and someone is probably going to get jumped by someone behind them. Both sitting at 29 points with a very small goal differential between them. Plus 10, plus 9. 1 goal separating.
Mm-hmm.
This one was hard for me. I looked at it closely. Pumas is at home. I know you haven't bought the hype wagon this year, and all the fans kept telling us, watch out, Pumas is coming, Pumas is coming. All right, you jerks, I'm going with you for once. I'm going to go with Pumas to pull it out and maintain home field advantage.
Who's playing at home?
Pumas.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Pumas. They play very good at home. I still don't buy into it. I give them this game before they get into playoffs. I don't buy it in playoffs, but I give them this game. They'll beat Santos. I've seen them. The last game that I seen them play, I seen the game that they played against us at their home. It ended up 3-3, so they have the power.
Right.
And then they were able to beat Cruz Azul like last minute. So I give them that. So they're a strong team at home, and they will play them at home. So I give them the win. But I still don't buy into the hype. Last year they said the same thing. Look at them, they lost.
Right.
Yeah, essentially, but the difference between last year is last year they didn't even make it to the Liguilla.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, they didn't
Last year they were
trash.
all hyped. This year they are quietly getting in there. And again, it's like something that I said earlier this year. It's just the teams from the Capital are now getting back up there and now competing against from the teams in the north side. I mean,
Except
we have.
for Chivas.
I mean, yeah, we have Cruz Azul, American Pumas there, and then you have Santos, Monterrey, and Tigres. So like, all the norteños and capitalinos are fighting it off this season. So
It's like a civil war.
yeah, essentially. So for me, I'm gonna go for Pumas. Just because Santos didn't convince last week when they played at home against America. Pumas has been taking advantage of their home field.
Say that directly to Joel. Joel, are you watching? You better be watching, Joel.
Yeah,
Santos isn't going to do crap.
I didn't say that, but
I said that.
Nah, Santos.
Or you say those Santos didn't do anything at home? You say?
well, they haven't proven that they have a solid home field advantage
True, yeah,
like they've
they're
had
shaky.
before. So now that they're playing away in Pumas' home, which they've also held pretty strong, I can't see them losing.
Pumas and Santos are those teams that they can get into playoffs, but they can't really do anything when they get in there. So it's kind of shaky. But during the season, they're amazing. They run through teams.
Right.
But if they get that home field advantage, it's gonna suck going on Sunday at 12 p.m.
Oh yeah.
to go play there.
Yeah. Definitely. All right, last match on Sunday. We have Lobos at home against Toluca. I'm not even going to debate this. Toluca. I don't care if down the road, Toluca's got the win.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Toluca. Toluca has a lot to play for, honestly, because if they lose, they can basically be out of the playoffs. So I'm gonna pick Toluca. I don't see them losing. They always make it. They're either at the top or the bottom. But I mean, who knows? But I'm gonna go with Toluca on this one. It's Lobos. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, all they need is a tie. To be honest, all they need is a tie, and they'll assure their spot mathematically in the Liguilla.
But we all know they're gonna go for a win anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm going with Toluca. They'll win it.
Okay, you also going Toluca? Okay. You guys give me a second. I'm going to add this up. But in the meantime, if you guys want to talk about, just in general, y'all thoughts of the season. This has been a crazy season as always. Close races. I mean, talk about points. Close calls. I think a pretty fair officiated overall season. But just y'all thoughts so far, and then kind of what are y'all thoughts on your respective teams going forward as I add this up?
Me personally, this season, it wasn't. The only one thing that did stand out to me was Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul was the one team that just surprised everybody. And I hate to say it, and I keep it in the back of my mind. If America, Tigres, or Rayados loses, I think Cruz Azul can take it all this year. It looks like they have the team. They came out strong. I think they can do it. But it also depends on who they face, because in the playoffs, it changes everything. The teams are different. Cruz Azul is different. It just depends. But this year, Cruz Azul stood out to me. But I feel like this season was kind of hectic, because normally you see that there's a gap of like 3 points, 2 points. But this season there was teams where they were all matched up 26. The only thing that was different was the goal differential. And you get paired up with a team that lets you score 6 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, and it helps you. But this was a season to where it's like, okay, it can make a big difference, or you're either separated by like so many points. So I think this playoffs for this season are going to be pretty interesting. I'm actually excited to see them, because they're not any pushover teams. They're strong teams. So I'm pretty excited to see it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, essentially, after the match day 16, you already know half of the table is not going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
and now you only have 2 spots. When usually you have like 4 or 5 in there that may still get in there, and you're like, okay, like this time, like all these teams who have qualified already, I want to say from Monterrey, Santos, Pumas, America, and Cruz Azul, who have mathematically assured their spot. All these teams, Tigres, Toluca, Morelia, Pachuca, Querétaro, all still have a chance. They all could still make a surprise because, I mean, as we know, the Liguilla every single year gives you one surprise.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it happened last year, happened 2 years ago. It keeps happening every single year, and this is the thing that attracts us as fans.
I don't know, me personally, I think with that table that we have now, from 1 to 7, I feel like it'll stay the same. The only thing that I will change is 8th place. It's not going to stay the same. But what I like about it is that, okay, you have Cruz Azul, America, and Pumas. Mm-hmm. Those are 3 big teams in the capital. And then in the north, you have Santos, Monterrey, and Tigres. You have 3 big teams in the north. That's something to look at because they're going to get paired up because it's always 1-8, 2-7, 3-6.
And 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4 and 5. So, I mean, it's going to be pretty good. And obviously, this last game for the season is going to rearrange people. So you might get Clásicos, you might not get Clásicos. It just depends. Right. But it's nice to see six solid teams, 3 from the north and then 3 from the capital. That's what you want to see in playoffs.
Yeah.
The 7 and 8, those are kind of scary because those are like the underdogs. They sneak in and they can sneak up on you. But those teams, they're pretty good. And I'm glad to see that those 6 teams are going into the playoffs. They stand out. They're not pushover teams.
Right.
So I think it'll be a battle of who wants it the most.
Exactly.
So the calculations are some interesting comparisons here. Based on what we're seeing in the final week, right now, myself and Richard both have Cruz Azul finishing first, while Raul, with his predictions, actually has Club America edging up because of goal differential. They'll be actually 33 with Cruz Azul and edging out because of goal differential. So let's go through my rankings. I have Cruz Azul, then I have America, Pumas, Monterrey was up to 4th. That's our home field. Tigres 5th, Santos 6th, 7 Toluca, 8 Pachuca. Wow. Raul, America, like I said, the reverse, the first and second. America first, Cruz Azul 2nd. Both have the same 3rd, which is Pumas. Monterrey also in 4th. Tigres also in 5th. Santos also in 6th. Toluca also in 7th. The change, Monarcas hangs on to 8th because of the win over Cruz Azul. So that's the key matchup difference for Raul. Richard also has Cruz Azul first. America 2nd, like myself. Pumas 3rd, like myself. We all agree on Monterrey 4th. We all agree Tigres 5th. We all agree Santos 6th. We all agree Toluca 7th. And Richard, like myself, has Pachuca. So the only real difference is really that key matchup you had the start, which was Monarcas Cruz Azul, with you picking Monarcas over that, and then the other little in between because of that same matchup, who ends up first or second. But I find interesting though is that what I love about this, according to this, if we 3 are right, 2 matchups I love right off the bat. The playoffs open with the Monterrey and Tigres matchup 4 and 5.
Wow.
The matchup would begin with America Toluca, which I think would be an amazing matchup. Santos Pumas, in most cases, would be the matchup. The difference would be that first 8. Like I said, if it was you, it'd be the ironic thing is if everything works out the way you were saying with that one game, Monarcas right away would have to play, America in first place. We both have Cruz Azul versus Pachuca.
If it goes your guys' way, the 2 games I would pay attention to, obviously Monterrey and Tigres, and then Santos and Pumas. I want to see that. Why? Because they play the final week, and then you have to go back and play 2 more games. So that's pretty interesting.
This happened back in 2014 when Tigres and America played, and then they played again.
Oh yeah.
Consequently, in the
so I think it'll be pretty interesting. But I mean, a lot of these teams, they're so unpredictable. Is if you could pick one thing and then they reverse it on you.
Trust me. I'm gonna save this, and Sunday night we'll see what the hell it looks like. I'll post it on Texas Soccer Live to see what the hell this actually looks like. I bet it's gonna be all messed up. Yeah. All messed up. So with that, Liga MX exciting action starts Friday evening. We got a lot of games Saturday, 2 or 3 games Sunday, and we'll know our final standings Sunday evening. So if you're a Liga MX fan, stay tuned for that. Moving quickly here, we're moving into our update we do every time on our Euro leagues. I'm going to go through the big 5 leagues in Europe. I'm going to talk about who are our top 8, and I'm going to ask for any surprises or any comments from our panel here on each league. So let's start with England, the Premier League. There are 12 matches in. They're about almost a third the way through the season, so that first third. Let's take a little temperature test here. Man City has been ridiculous. Man City's in first place with 32 points with a plus 31 goal differential. They've been scoring like crazy. Plus 31 goal differential with 32 points. Liverpool, however, as impressive that is, Liverpool's in second place with 30 points, plus 18 differential. Chelsea in third with 28. The Tottenham Spurs in fourth with 27. Arsenal in fifth with 24. And then there are 2 surprises here. Bournemouth has 20 points in 6th, and Watford is in 7th with 20 points. And Man U has sunk to a lowly 8th place with 20 points. My big takeaway has been Man U not even being in the conversation right now. I know there's a lot of season to play, a lot of soccer to be played, but the fact that they're not even, that Bournemouth and Watford are above them right now, my big takeaway is Man U with all their star power is not killing in the league. And the other story is Man City is just demolished. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
I say in that list, from 5 and up, it's nothing new. I mean, you see those names all the time. You're gonna see Tottenham Spurs. You're gonna see Arsenal. You see Man City. You see Chelsea. I mean, those are big names. Watford is a name that everybody knows and is well known. It's not known for standing out so much, but you know that team like Watford is. You hear it and you know it. The other team, I never heard of it, me personally. And then Man U, I think Man U is a solid team. It's just there's so much controversy around them that is causing so much distractions for them.
Yeah. Bournemouth was only came up about, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. They're the team that relegated up. So 2 or 3 years have actually gotten to the mix. Richard, any thoughts on the Premier League?
I honestly I think Liverpool may end up giving the surprise to Man City later on in the season.
It's a close race.
Yeah, it's a close race with them as always. These past 2 seasons, it's been the conversation of having them and those 2 teams. Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal. For me, historically, back when I used to watch more of the Premier League, I didn't see them like high up on the table. Well, Chelsea I did, but Arsenal and Tottenham, they've been flipping over. But with you got was it Kane and on the Spurs, and then the entire squad as itself has been improving. I mean, will we see them ever contending for the number 1 spot? I don't know.
Neither was in the hunt.
I think it depends. If they would have kept their star power from before, they would have been up there. But I mean, the thing about that league is that you get so much star power that eventually they're going to get bought out, and you can't keep them forever. I mean,
Right.
Definitely.
so they better, like that league, they better hold on to Mo Salah because Mo Salah's going to eventually get bought out.
Moving on south there to Spain, La Liga, also a third for their season. Kind of a big surprise here, but the standings speak for themselves. Close all around, very close. Barcelona is sitting with 24 points, plus 16. Sevilla right behind them with 23. Atletico Madrid also with 23. Alaves with 23. So top 4 are separated by a point. Espanyol in 5th with 21. Real Madrid in 6th place with 20 points. Valladolid in 7th with 17. And Levante in 8th with 17. So, I'm interested in your take. I know you've talked about it before. Is this indeed, I know it's early in the season, the third in, but are we indeed seeing the mighty fall of the Madrid?
This, I said it at the beginning. This is the fall of Madrid. They lost Ronaldo, and okay, they have a solid team, but we all know Ronaldo controlled that team. He controlled it, and it's not the same with him there. Barcelona, they have slow starts, but something is off about this team this year. It's not what you normally see. Messi, of course, he has injuries here and there. They have controversy with Dembele and stuff like that. I feel like after he came back from the World Cup, he hasn't been himself. It's still an early start. But I will say this now. Barcelona will not win the title this year. I believe Atletico could be the team to come and sneak up and take it.
Wow.
Or Sevilla. Just because if they're able to go this far and only be separated by 1 point, they can sneak up and push Barcelona down. And I don't want to say it's because Ronaldo left and he didn't cause all of this. It's just not the same. Because even with the Clásico didn't get so much hype because Messi was hurt and Ronaldo was gone. So everybody's like, Clásico, no Ronaldo, no Messi, I don't care. So I think it was good that he left because now a lot of the teams are like, okay, now we have a shot. Because for the past how many years we see Barcelona first, Real Madrid second, Real Madrid first, Barcelona second. It's time for some change, yeah. So I think this is gonna be the year that one of those. I think I'm gonna pick Atletico to win it all, but it's just gonna be one of those seasons to where it could shift so many places. But Real Madrid has fallen off the grid this year, and I knew it was gonna happen.
Right into that. I mean, you don't want to say, or you may think that it's not just Ronaldo, but everything that came with Ronaldo, the propaganda, TV, promotion ads, everything that came with the package of Ronaldo being in the Spanish league, him and Messi essentially made up the league and all their promotional power and all their expansion that they're trying to create. Everything that the league itself is trying to do outside and commercializing has been affecting the product. I mean, I hardly even see any Spanish league matches as I did back then. I mean,
before I was like, Barcelona versus Sevilla, Barcelona, Atletico. Real Madrid is playing some shitty team, but let's throw it on there because it's Real Madrid. It's just, I mean,
it's not as attractive anymore. And I mean, now people are starting to realize, like, whoa, like, you know, maybe this isn't the strongest league. I mean, but when you go in and talk about the conversation, who is the best league in the world? I mean, I'm starting to see, like, now Spanish league is not the best one in the world right now.
It's just they had the two best players in the world. They weren't the best league in the world. They had the two best players in the world, which made everybody focus on it. So, I mean,
but it's good because now all the competition is coming back. Now you're starting seeing Alaves, who you rarely saw like in the mid card or even at the low card of the table at the end of the season. Now they're up there. Sevilla is now back up there. Who they've been playing the Europa Champions League. So now, I mean, who knows? They might end up in contention for the title at the end of the season.
So speaking of Ronaldo, let's shift gears over to Serie A at Italy, to his new home, because Juventus is in first place over there with 34 points, Community League plus 18. Napoli is in second with 28. Inter Milan with 25. Lazio 22. Number 5, you got AC Milan with 21. Roma with 19. Sassuolo with 19, and Atalanta with 18. Any doubts that this is Juventus' league to lose, as usual?
No, I think they can take it. Obviously, we've been hearing like bad about Ronaldo with him, but I think he'll pick it up. It's his first season, so he still has a lot to work with. I think you give him this season, going through, they win it. Take the off season, then come back. He's gonna be back to the Ronaldo that you expect.
We'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about Champions League, which is a whole another story. About what my personal opinion was Juventus brought in Ronaldo not for domestic league titles, but to finally get Champions League. That's my thought.
He is the LeBron of the Champions League, essentially. I mean, he's been almost in every single final.
Be a closer. Think about it. You lost to Real Madrid and Ronaldo in the Champions League. Now you got him on your side, so your thought is, I'm going to win a Champions League.
Exactly.
I honestly could see a Liverpool and Juventus final.
Wow. Yeah.
I could see that.
That'd be fun.
Because Liverpool coming back to avenge themselves, and then Ronaldo carrying a team that gets so close, and then when they finally make it, can Ronaldo get them the title or not? No. And then look at Buffon. Buffon wanted a title. He ended up leaving to PSG, and now they get Ronaldo, so this was probably his chance to get a title. But
Richard, any chance we get a
different answer?
Well, would we get get a scoring run like we did last year, it came down domestically between Juventus and Napoli, going neck and neck, game for game. Here you have Juventus with a firm 6-point lead. Yes, only a third of the way through. Any chance? Do you see any chance from the behind the field challenging Juventus at all for that first spot?
I don't see it happening because another thing that Ronaldo did bring to that Juventus team is competition, internal competition within the team. We haven't been seeing Cristiano Ronaldo score as much as we would have wanted to, but we have been seeing the other players like Dybala.
He brings out the young stars.
Exactly.
He makes them shine. So.
Exactly, and essentially the whole team looks very solid. Something that they may have appeared before, but now they actually are. They have an all-rounded, well-rounded team. So just like Cruz Azul back in Mexico, the Juventus is the same way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Juventus, I see them contending for both the Champions League and not losing their first place right now.
Yeah. Well, one league that I think wouldn't take us too long to talk about, that is Ligue 1. That is the French league. PSG, first place, 39 points, with a plus 38 goal differential. How many goal scorers can you have on one team? That's my question. LOSC in second with 26, Montpellier with 25, Lyon 24, and so on and so on. I'm not going to talk about the rest because the French league, who cares?
It doesn't even matter.
The PSG is going to run with it like they always do. What I do find interesting is out of the top 8, you will find one team missing.
Marseille.
Monaco, exactly. Monaco has come to a complete fall. And I have a theory, because there's a lot of controversy out there about spending with the Premier League and how they've been buying players, this and that. Monaco has clearly become a farm team. They're the farm system team for the Premier League. Because if you look at the ridiculous sales they have made, you think to yourself, why would you spend, why would someone, so much money for a player? Monaco is making bank dollars like crazy. Monaco clearly does not care about winning, in my mind. They get these great players, they have a great system, and the Premier League and La Liga is snatching them up for 10s and 20s and 40s of millions of dollars. Look at all the players who've come to Monaco. If you just do your research, Google players who have left Monaco, and you will see all the players, where they've gone. It has been ridiculous. And I don't get why we gave Monaco credit in the first place, because clearly they just want to make money. I don't get it. I do not get it. But Monaco could be one of the best teams in all of Europe, and now they have sunk to where they belong because they have sold their souls. I'm sorry. They've sold their souls. So...
but Monaco's one of those teams, they could rake up some money and you never know. They might buy some players.
That's my point. What they do is they have a ridiculous buku's amounts of money, and then these guys are going to turn around, spend it on some young talent. By the way, we can get into a whole other political conversation here. They're going to buy up the best African talent there is out there, best Middle Eastern talent that's out there. Right. Cultivate them, put them in their system, produce them. And what do? Flip for a profit. I bought the guy for $1 million. I just flipped him for $30 million.
But can you really compete against a PSG though?
I think it's over time. If you have as much money as you do, I think you can.
Right.
Why is PSG so good? PSG is so good because they have a president all of a sudden who's also an investor, who's put in over $100 million dollars into this team, buying whoever they want, making sure Mbappe stays there, making sure Neymar stays, making sure Cavani stays.
For them, PSG, it's the name of the players and the name of the team that makes them stand out so much.
Well, that comes back from the ideology of the president, though. Like this, maybe
if you can promote the hell out of your team, go for it.
Right.
I mean, they're kind of signed to Jordan brand. I mean, Jordan being the best basketball player, you have PSG. Right. They promote the hell out of your team.
Starting on PSG Nike commercials, but whatever. It's why they did that all of a sudden? Were they with that before Neymar? No. They saw Neymar was going crazy. Let's join in. Let's go crazy. Exactly. I think I'm looking at Levi Diaz. I thank you for joining us. The Monaco owner does not care about the fans. He cares about profit. He bought the club to make money. The owner knew about the academy. and how made exponential process. Yes, they have a phenomenal academy. That's what frustrates me, Levi, is that when I see a team with that good of an academy, I'm like, oh my God, you could be winning titles.
Right.
But what they've chosen, because of the ownership, and that shows you the power that ownership has in soccer, which is why I've harped on it with the Dynamo. Mm-hmm. The power that the ownership has is paramount. And what they've decided to do is to have a team that is going to produce stars and make money. They don't give a damn about their fans. I can't believe there are still Monaco fans out there. If I was from Monaco, I'd be pissed. But they're not. They're not, because the team keeps making money. And they got some stars to cheer at for a year or two, and they grow. And then they crop them off. Right. They cut them at the stalk and send them over to England, send them to Spain. And that's how it goes.
But then for the past few years, Monaco was always like second to them.
Right. They were playing.
And then,
well, they were because that was their growing stage. Watch. Mark my words. A year or two from now, Monaco's going to be in second or first place. Why? Because they're going to get some young talent. Yeah. They're going to cash in. That talent's going to get good. They'll be first or second to PSG. And then what they're going to do in 2 years is they're going to take those guys and sell them again on the open market.
Yeah.
It's pathetic. It's pathetic. That is money soccer for you, and they don't care about the legacy of the team. So if you're a Monaco supporter or, at all, like, I would be ashamed. I would be upset because your team is not growing for the future. You got the money. Like, it's like, imagine if the New York Yankees, the money payroll they have, that all they did was sell off their guys to other teams.
Right.
Like, it'd be crazy. Crazy.
If I was PSG, I mean, don't get me wrong, winning titles is nice, but I mean, it gets boring just being in first by like so many points. Like, give me a challenge. Like, put somebody against the race. Like, right. I don't know.
We'll get to a second. PSG only gets a challenge when they go to the Champions League. That's it. That's all they got now.
So should they reformat or have a reformat for the Ligue 1 where essentially the PSG ownership could end up making more teams and bringing that up? The
problem is it goes back to is
too dominant, man.
It goes back to the world style of soccer and the sports really, and the American style of sports. Is that when you're talking about how do we make this fair, blah blah, you're talking about cap limits, you're talking about league limits, this and that, trying to make things equitable or fair. Europe's going to resist that, because why did we sell our teams, to $1 billion Arabian oil princes and whatnot, when now we can't take advantage of that, right? So they're going to be fought by every single team, and all the big teams, at least the ones that matter, are going to fight against that. If they equalize that, I don't know how that would be. It would be weird if you put a salary cap system or a league expenditure, some sort of limit of some kind in those leagues. I don't know how that would be. You wouldn't have the superpowers you have right now. You would not have the historical powers of Barcelona, of Real Madrid, of Man U, Man City, PSG. You wouldn't have them. You wouldn't have them. But that's why I think Europe will never do that. I just don't think they'll ever do that. But, that's my point. They're taking advantage. I blame them. I'm angry. But
as a soccer fan, but
as a business standpoint, I don't blame them. It's the system. Yeah. It's the system. And they have chosen, Monaco, which very wisely, from a business perspective, has chosen to be a supplier. They've chosen not to be a consumer. They've chosen to be a supplier. And certain other teams, some have done it to a lesser extent, but none has exemplified it more than Monaco.
It's just like the German league. You see Dortmund doing the same thing.
Let's switch to that though. Let's talk about the German league, because I used to say that about Dortmund too. But all of a sudden, Dortmund started caring. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because they got an American on their team or someone else. Whatever. I'm just throwing controversial stuff out there to see if it sticks.
They were tired of just seeing Bayern in first place.
Well, and that's why Bayern currently is in 5th place. Wow. Dortmund is there at first, 27. A team I always love saying their name because I have to pronounce it out. Mönchengladbach is in 2nd place with 23. Leipzig with 3rd with 22. Eintracht in 4th with 20. And Bayern Munich stuck there in 5th at 20 points as well. Hoffenheim 6th, Werder in 7th, and Hertha in 8th. I love saying German names. It's great. My thing with Dortmund is that they used to be the same thing. Dortmund and their leadership and their coach about a year ago, grew something called balls. Soccer balls, that is.
Yeah.
And decided to actually kick them around and score goals instead of sending them in training camp and then selling them to their local neighbor. And that has disturbed Bayern Munich all of a sudden. Because Bayern Munich is going through their own troubles, their own issues, and all of a sudden Dortmund got serious about soccer. And if you watch the Bundesliga for the last several weeks, Dortmund's been running through the damn table. Everybody else, your usual suspects, Leipzig, even Mönchengladbach, Eintracht, all of them, they're all there. Okay? But the fact that Dortmund is business, Dortmund is what Monaco should be.
Excuse me.
Monaco is what Dortmund used to be. That's my opinion.
But see, that's
Y'all's
what I think.
thoughts on all this.
Monaco should be like Dortmund. But what Dortmund did was they had their phase, getting players, making them what they need to be, and then selling them. What Dortmund did was we're going to make players, we're going to sell them, and we're going to make the players that we have now even better. We're going to get homegrown players, and we're going to throw money at them so they can stay with us and they can grow. That's what they did. They took the money and they basically invested it into their players and their academy even more to build a team that they need. And then in the future, all they have to do is just sell one player for what they used to sell their academy for, and then they get to pay off their academy again. So it's like it's a good investment.
It's a business.
Yeah.
Right.
Richard, if you're Bayern Munich, how do you feel about being fifth to the likes of your rival Dortmund and a team called Mönchengladbach?
Well, surprisingly, it seemed like it's a ripple effect because Bayern was the major supplier for the German national team. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know. I mean,
I feel like a lot of their players are still hung up on the World Cup. I think they are. I mean, that's why they haven't really shown up.
And here we are talking about Dortmund, a team that has a lot of non-Germans on it. Surprise, surprise. Bo. Bayern Munich, who has a shit ton of Germans on their team.
I would rather see Dortmund take the title for the league, but I mean,
Yeah, well,
it'd be nice to
have
see
their
them.
jersey on the wall.
It'd be nice to see them take that. Obviously, we see Bayern every year. Bayern
Yeah,
wins the title. Bayern wins the
I'm
title.
tired of that. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's nice to see names that we can't even pronounce up there too. So
Yeah, Mönchengladbach. Yeah, I'm probably
Shout
saying it
out.
wrong. Whatever. Whatever.
we don't know you, but we respect you.
Yeah, you and Eintracht. All right.
Frankfurt from Frankfurt.
Bunch of
Sounds
Nazis,
like
okay, yeah.
sounds like anthrax.
Yeah,
That's
sounds
where
like
Marco Fabiani
sounds like
played.
1944. Never mind. All right, going on. Still in Europe, we have the Champions League, and this will be a fast one. What I'm interested to do is this, guys. We've played 4 out of 6 group stage games. 4 out of 6. So that means there's only 2 games remaining in the group stage. Also starting like this week and this weekend. So talk about soccer crazy. Like, just turn on your TV starting tomorrow and you can find some soccer going on. It's crazy. I want to go through all 8 groups. Now remember, the top 2 go through.
Right.
So 2 games remaining. We're going to go through each group, and you tell me real quick if you think someone other than the top 2 is going to advance. Okay? So, Group A, we have what we just talked about, our buddies at Dortmund with 9 points, and Atletico Madrid 9 points. And then number 3, Club Rouge 4 points, and Monaco with 1 point. Any doubts that Dortmund and Atletico Madrid are going to be the 2 that advance in Group A?
No, they both take it. They both have.
Oh, we're not going to worry about Club Rouge? All right, good.
No, but surprise. I mean,
Once
Dortmund,
again-
because they're doing so well.
And once again, Monaco, 1 point with a -8 goal differential in 4 games. Pathetic.
Shows that's like them playing in the season.
Group B, the top 2. Barcelona with 10 points. Inter Milan with 7 points. Here's actually a surprise, though. 3rd place, Tottenham Spurs, 4 points. PSV Eindhoven with 1 point. Eindhoven's out, I get that. Any chance that the Hotspurs could maybe surprise Inter Milan and move into that 2nd spot over 2 games?
Do they play each other or?
Let's take a quick look.
Yeah, you look at that, Richard, for me. I do think I think they might. Like, there's 2 games.
They play against Inter and then they play against Barcelona. So
Yeah, they play the top 2 teams.
I think Tottenham could be one of those teams that could upset
Inter Milan.
Yeah. I don't see Barcelona losing.
No, I think if Inter Milan loses 1, they're going to win 2.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Group C, we have Napoli in 6 with Liverpool also with 6. PSG is the one outside with 5 points. And Red Star Belgrade with 4. This is a very close group, only 2 games remaining. I know personally, I'm going to take Liverpool, and I think PSG. I don't know, who does it say Napoli plays?
Let's see. So Napoli will be playing this time against Red Star Belgrade and and Liverpool.
So I think Liverpool's gonna win that game for sure, move them to first. And Red Star Belgrade's, I know they're not a good team, but they're not someone to mess with. I gotta say Liverpool, PSG, but I would say this though: if PSG doesn't, that is an abysmal disappointment. PSG.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That is the Yankees or Red Sox bailing out of the first round of the playoffs.
Right.
Like, that is bad. Napoli's not bad, though. So Napoli could be the party spoiler for Group C. I don't know.
I see Napoli dropping down to 3rd. Liverpool, obviously, they'll jump them. PSG, they won't go out like that. They're obviously tearing it up in their league, so they're obviously going to have to tear it. I believe they play... I think they play Liverpool, and they have to play, I believe, Red Star. So
yeah,
they'll beat Red Star, which gives them 3 points, and I believe Liverpool they'll probably tie, and then Napoli they'll win one, but they'll lose the other. So I think it'll be Liverpool PSG that advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice to not have a strange team in the playoffs such as Red Star Belgrade, but I think it's going to stay the same, Napoli and Liverpool. I just think Liverpool may end up in first and Napoli in second.
I will say that's one of the more interesting groups to watch, to see what happens over the next couple of rounds.
Who would have thought? At first,
close.
back when we called it earlier this year, it was like Liverpool, PSG for sure.
Well, I will say when that group was formed, when I saw Napoli after last season, being so close to Juventus, seeing them, Liverpool, PSG, I was like, that's a good group. What I didn't suspect is like Red Star being able to actually win a game, and they did.
Yeah.
So kind of crazy. Group D, not close at all here. You got Porto from Portugal with 10 points. Schalke from Germany with 8 points.
Galatasaray.
Galatasaray, whatever the heck it is, 4 points. And then, I love this one, Lokomotiv Moscow.
I wonder what that means.
0 points. It's the train, baby. Just running it down. And they're running right into the ground with 0 points. -9 goal differential.
Wow.
Ain't been able to score a goal, baby. Here we go. Lokomotiv is going to get their way out of Champions. I don't know how the hell they got in. All these Russian teams all of a sudden. There's some Russian rigging going on in the elections here. Porto, Schalke. There's no doubt those two. And Schalke's not even that good. They got lucky they got in this group.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a crappy
Both
group.
Porto and Schalke.
This is a crappy group.
Yeah.
It's crappy, but Porto's pretty. Porto's a name that you see every so often.
Well, it's top, in Portugal. Yeah. Group E, we have Bayern. The one place they're doing good is their first place in their group with 10 points. Ajax, a team I'm glad to finally see their name back up in the mix at 8 points. Benfica from Portugal with 4 points. AEK, which I think is from Greece, I may be wrong, with 0 points. Get the heck out of here. So, any doubts? Bayern, Ajax. I'm thinking Bayern, Ajax. We'll keep going on this one.
Nope.
I don't think Benfica's going to do anything.
I think it's nice to see Ajax back up there, but Bayern. I feel like Bayern is still so stuck up on trying to win a Champions League. That's what's wrong with them.
Group F, my boys at Man City with 9 points. Lyon with 6 points. Hoffenheim 3. And Shakhtar Donetsk, which I love saying, at 2 points. Shakhtar Donetsk was in the Champions League semifinals, or they were up there last year, and here they are last place in their league, in their group. Excuse me. Man City for sure is going. Any chance that someone can knock out Lyon from that second spot?
No. Well, unless Lyon loses their 2 games, and I think.
Yeah.
Shakhtar, so let's take a quick look at Shakhtar. They're playing...
Shakhtar could play the shocker. Sorry for that. Sorry for that.
They'll be playing Hoffenheim, and then they'll be playing Lyon, so...
That's what I'm saying. They control their destiny.
Right. So it could be...
I'm going with Shakhtar. I'm going with Shakhtar.
You're going with Turkey, all right.
And I'm going with the Turkish team. Here we go.
I'm going...
Get your hookahs, the Turkish coffee. Let's go.
I'm sticking with the first two.
Oh, my
I'm
God,
sticking with
you
the first two.
boring, predictable person. All right. Group G. The one place Real Madrid can save their first place. 9 points with a +8 differential. Roma with 9 right behind them. CSKA Moscow in third with 4 points. And Pilsen in last place with first. You know, I got to feel for Pilsen because they're named after my favorite beer. But, I mean, type of beer that is.
Right.
But Real Madrid and Roma, they're going to kill in this. Any doubts? Any doubts? CSKA Moscow hooligans coming after him.
Nah,
No, okay.
I'm sticking with Real Madrid.
Group H, Juventus with 9, Man U with 7, Valencia 5, and my favorite team, because of their name, I don't even know where they're from. I've not even looked up where they're from. Can you tell me where they're from?
Yes.
The Young Boys, should be a Z. The Young Boys with 1 point, -8 differential. They tied somebody. I don't know who the hell they tied. But they tied somebody. Juventus and Man U. Who are the?
They're Swiss.
They're Swiss. I know I love the Swiss, the Young Boys. The point is, they're not going to do crap against Man U and Juventus, and they are out.
I can see Man U falling out in Valencia.
Valencia?
So-
Man U screwing up?
Something we didn't talk about back when we were talking about the Spanish League is Valencia isn't even up there. They're actually on the bottom of the table. Of the
they
Spanish
got there
League.
because of last year.
Yeah.
That's how they got in there.
So, I mean,
Last year they were like 4th or 3rd or something like that.
right. Yeah, they were competing against...
So they got something to play for here. It's like, all right, it's kind of like the Dynamo,
Right.
The Dynamo this year didn't do crap, but now they're in CONCACAF Champions. It's like, you know, if the Dynamo made it to like the semifinals, people would be like, who the hell are the Houston Dynamo? Like people in South America would be like, who the hell are the Houston Dynamo? You know, like in Central America, and it's like, what? It's like, yeah, they didn't make the playoffs last year, but apparently they made this tournament.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly.
what they're going to be like.
I mean, if Man U manages to go to 3rd place...
Man U has too much controversy.
Forget both y'all. Go Young Boys. I'm going with Young Boys.
Yeah.
Young Boys! Let's go.
I mean, they have to win, so... Win,
loss, double loss.
Yeah, they have to win. First and second have to lose.
Miracle. We're talking about a 1.5% chance. Yeah, here we go. Let's do it. All right. And our last, final segment that'll take like about 2 minutes here. Well, maybe it will if we have a debate. We have a championship, what I believe is the championship of all championships, and no one is talking about it. Everybody's talking about the World Cup. Everyone's talking about MLS. Everyone's talking about Liga MX. Everyone's talking about Champions League. But no one, except for Texas Soccer Live, is talking about Copa Libertadores. Copa Libertadores is talking about South America and their championship coming down to the 2 largest teams in Argentina. It is a national slugfest for the Continental Championship. The first game got canceled because of weather and rain. The first game got played. They are canceling. They do not allow visiting fans in the stadium because these 2 people hate each other so much that they would kill them. I'm not exaggerating. They would kill each other or do something to the players. So only the home fans are allowed at each home game. They played the first home game finally. The home game was at Boca's first, right?
Yeah.
They played it. Boca's River Plate. 2-2 tie. Here we go. Going across town to River Plate with a 2-2 tie. The winner of that game takes all. There ain't no damn ties. It's winner takes all. Here we go. You want like the fight of the century, a Muhammad Ali type fight. Here we go. And nobody's talking about it.
Oh, but you should have seen last week's match.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You should have.
Gosh.
And if you're smart, you will tune in this Saturday. I know there's a lot of stuff going on Saturday. I've already thrown a lot at you. 2 p.m. Find it somewhere. Go to your closest bar. I don't care what you got to do.
Stream it
At
live on your computer.
Steal it, pirate it, whatever. Bocas versus River Plate. Copa Libertadores final. Watch it.
Or on Fox Deportes, if you have.
Now, we might dare, and I do dare, talk about predictions here.
I mean, we have
This
the jersey
is-
right behind us.
This is tough for me. I have the Bocas. I have not put the River Plate jersey up. This is tough for me. And that's why I'm not going to go first. Richard or Raul, would you like to go first?
I'll take it.
Reverse it. Richard, take it first. I don't want to get attacked by the audience.
Okay. Well, essentially, Boca Juniors have had a really great season in the Argentine League. Now they're here. I'm going with Boca. Essentially, this match is going to be awesome. I don't even care who wins, just because I'm not a loyal fan to any of the two teams. But if a team should win, I think Boca should win. And
the point is, this is getting us fired up, and we don't even care about Argentina. We're not from Argentina. We don't have any. Well, we don't have a lot of Argentinian friends.
the players were fighting off from the first minute.
I know.
Yeah.
There's no rivalry that I can think of in football that has more passion, than this. I'm sorry. I'm saying that as I'm here next to a goddamn Tigres fan.
With the Monterrey.
I am saying that. And I cannot think of, with the flag behind you, I cannot think of any other fandom that has gotten so. We always compare our rivalry to theirs.
Mm-hmm.
But theirs takes it to a whole nother level. They are the Bocas Juniors of Mexico. We are the River Plate of Mexico. We get that.
I went down there.
And you've been there. You've been there.
People don't play around. You are one or the other. You are born into one family or the other.
Did anyone question you when you were down there?
No, thankfully.
You weren't wearing the wrong colors.
No, I wasn't wearing the wrong colors. So.
You purposely did not wear blue or red or white.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's because football for them, it's a
Now,
religion.
Now I know who you're going with.
I want Boca to win. Boca needs to win. And I will cheer for Boca till the end. I'm going to wear my jersey of that day. I will cheer for them.
This one.
Why? Because I will hate River Plate till the day that I die for that.
It feels like that about Monterrey, but it's all right.
That we had a chance to win the final. It would have been the first Mexican team to win a Libertadores trophy, and we didn't. So I want Boca.
I see where it's at.
I want Boca.
It's deeper history.
I want Boca to win it.
Which by the way, you were telling me this. Aren't they about to allow Mexican teams back in?
There's a chance that they might let them back in. There's actually a lot of changes going in Libertadores, which is good and bad.
Which is the best Western Hemisphere tournament, period.
Yes.
Oh yeah, if you can put Mexican teams back into taking Mexico and South America and putting them together, it's one hell of a tournament. It's amazing.
You look at the last few matches, even with Toluca, when they were over there at Boca Juniors in the Bombonera.
There's Toluca, Pumas, America, Chivas.
Even Cruz Azul at one point, they had a shot.
Yeah.
And Chivas.
Well, guys, I hate to rain on the party.
It's all good.
I like Bocas.
Just don't miss it.
I am Bocas, but I'm calling River Plate on this one. River Plate, I see you out there, you rich MFers. Okay. I see you out there, River Plate.
Bring all the hate.
River Plate. The only reason is because you're like my brother connected to my brother, kind of connected to my brother. You're like my brother's dog's cousin's friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of have a connection because you're the rich team in Buenos Aires. We're the rich team going back to the 70s, 80s in Monterrey. You know, we kind of have that connection, but whatever. Like, I just want to rain on these Bocas parades. So, River Plate, here we go.
I will give you this. Whoever wins, there will be riots on the streets between these boats.
No, and when we say that, we're not saying like joking. You don't see smiles on our face. Like, I'm serious. There will be domestic violence because of this.
And they're so close
to
each other.
There will be the Argentinian police and military will be on call. I'm not joking. They're already on call, I'm sure, for this game. So, with that, I'd like to end this show with shout-outs. And this is, guys, you know, I'm going to surprise this on y'all. Anything you want to shout out, all the stuff we talked about, anything. If you got any soccer shout-outs, teams you want to rep, players you want to rep, anything you want to rep, soccer-related, you can do it. For me, I'll kick it off. I'm repping my alma mater, Trinity University. D3, number 5 men got knocked out in the round of 16, but they made it to the round of 16. Their 7th straight conference title, repping D3 soccer here in USA. The ladies, I haven't forgot about you. Finished number 13 in the nation. Got knocked out of the second round. So Trinity University repping things. So you guys got any shout outs for soccer?
I just want to send a shout out to my mom's cousin out in Monterrey who is watching us. I haven't seen you in a while, but I want to send you a shout out. Gracias por vernos. And I also want to send a shout out to like my friends that go for Tigres. Thank you for watching and sharing the videos. I appreciate it. Shout out to the Libres y Locos, the ones in Mexico and all over the place. Appreciate you guys for watching and sharing.
Not the people who are mad.
A shout out to my familia, mis padres out there. Gracias por estar viéndonos. To all our people, to all our Spanish-speaking audience. Lamentamos por no hacer este show en español, pero pues el fútbol va sobre todas las barreras, así que sigamos para adelante. El fútbol es el número uno deporte.
Tell them maybe next time in December will be YouTube. Tell them El Gringo will get off and YouTube might have a show.
Ay, perfecto. Si ya lo escucharon aquí con Sean, a lo mejor próximamente, el próximo mes, él se quedará afuera para nosotros hacer el show en español. Así que estén pendientes en eso.
Sí. All right, with that, guys, I'd like to thank y'all for tuning in. My name is Sean Telez, as always with Raul Villarreal, and this holiday season with Richard Romero. Thanks for tuning in. Episode 21, episode 22 coming to you in December. Appreciate it.
Adios.
We are out, and let me cue the music.